Hello there, thank you for staying with us and welcome to The Beam on Channels Television. I'm Victor Matthias. Now, with the disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, the Inspector General of Police, Nigerians are breathing a sigh of relief. However, protesters are still on the roads in Lagos, in Abuja, as well as in other parts of the country. Now, for some, it goes beyond the disbandment, and for others, there is the need for the group to stay. Now, on this edition of the program, we will be looking at why the protesters are yet to disperse and why some still have some support for the disbanded squad. But before we get into that discussion, let's take a look first at what made the trends on the social cyberspace.
Residents of Ondo State turned out in their numbers to cast their ballots and choose who will lead them for the next 4 years. Incumbent governor and candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Rotimi Akeredolu, emerged winner after the exercise with 292,000. For future, this year's International Day of the Girl Child was celebrated to inspire what adolescent girls see as the change they want. Solutions, big and small, were also preferred as this change is demanded across the globe.
Well, there you go. Those were the trends in the past week. Also, during the protest last week, a protester was shot in Ogbomosho in Osun State. That's Jimo Ishak. But you can also be a part of the conversation. Just tweet at us at Channels TV, at Channels Beam, at Victor_MBIDI, as well as at Channels Beam. That's the hashtag. But let's begin the program now. We begin from the streets. We have Hamzat Lawal, who is joining us from Abuja. He is actually on ground at one of the rally points of the protesters. He joins us via Skype. And also we have the national president of the Arewa Youth Consultative Council, Zaid Ayuba, who is joining us from our studios in Kano. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, Ayuba. All right, we also have with us, we're supposed to have with us the PRO of the Lagos State Police Command, Muyiwa Adejobi, but we understand the place is super rowdy at the moment because the governor and the deputy governor have just visited the scene where protesters have rallied at the Ikeja, at the Ikoyi-Lekki Bridge. But let's just kickstart the program from the streets. We have with us Hamzat Lawal. He's joining us via Skype from Abuja. Hamzat, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you, Victor, for having me. Good afternoon,
Indeed.
Nigerians.
Good afternoon. We can hear how rowdy it is out there, but what exactly is the situation as we speak?
Right now, everywhere is peaceful. We have young people who have come out in mass and united their voices and demanding. And their demands are quite clear. But most importantly, here is very peaceful. Young people have put a barricade and blocked the famous beggar roundabout. So there's no movement of any car or traffic. So you just have people holding placards and just, sharing ideas, talking about. So we have pockets of people just having debates about the kind of Nigeria they want to see and what kind of reform we want to see in the Nigerian police force.
Hamzat, people would have expected that you and your fellow protesters would have left the streets since the Inspector General of Police made the announcement disbanding the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Why then are you still there?
But this is not the first time that the Nigerian government have disbanded the SAS. This is actually the third or fourth time, and for us, we don't want to go back to our comforts, and then there are no changes. And come to think of it, there was no timeline. So for us, our worry is we've not seen strong commitment and strong political will. There's no timeline that have been put forward around this, and there is no accountability mechanism. So we need our government, for instance, Victor. We've lost life in the past 4 days. Who are we holding account for this life lost? Are we saying that, the Nigerian police, you give them a gun, you give them uniform, and they have all the authorities to shoot and kill innocent people with their mobile phone? So this is unacceptable. The government needs to come clear and tell us, are
So,
they going to
aren't
investigate
you
and prosecute
speaking about
these
the
people?
government? Comes out speaking about the government. I mean, one of the clamors that there were during this period was the fact that the president hasn't addressed Nigerians, but he has now.
Yeah,
Don't you have that assurance that he will keep his word?
no, we don't have that assurance. Right now, there is no trust between government and her citizen. Mr. President was reading a speech. There was no empathy, there was no emotional connection. And when you listen to that speech, there is no timeline. So, Mr. President is just saying they've disbanded SARS, they're going to investigate the case, in or your state. What next afterwards? I was expecting Mr. President, we're expecting Mr. President to hold the IGP accountable. Why is he not firing the IGP? Why is he not telling us that, after this investigation, mind you, how long would the investigation take? So you can't just come and tell young people who are passionate about this country that you're going to investigate. After your investigation, no timeline. What would happen? So for us, it's not about disbanding SARS. So if you disband them, you're taking them back to the Nigerian police force. The Nigerian
All right.
police force of today does not meet the aspiration of the Nigerian people. So what we're even saying, it's even going to benefit the Nigerian police much more. One was saying, increase their remuneration, give them better pay, give them better welfare. So for us, it's about the Nigerian state and protecting the integrity and sovereignty of the Nigerian state. And
All
Mr.
right,
President
Hamza.
must rise to the occasion.
Hamza, let me just hold you. Just please maintain the position you are, right where you are. We'll come back to you in just a bit. But let's go to our Kano studio, where we have with us the national president of the Arewa Youth Consultative Council, Zaid Ayuba. Again, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, Zaid, there's been so much that's been going on in terms of protests around the country, but we understand in some parts of the country as well, there is the need for these people to perhaps remain on the streets. But I don't know what your view is. If you could tell us what exactly, or what was the reaction you had when you heard that there was the protest to end and disband SARS?
Actually, it's all about solidarity. Solidarity in respect to those that went out there to struggle simply because they want special anti-robbery squad to be abolished. And we from the 19 northern state, we have actually written to the president and the inspector general of the police, calling them that from the 19 northern state, we don't want SARS to be abolished. And our
Why?
simple reasons are, if you look at it, especially some of these states from the northwest, specifically Katsina, Zamfara, some part of Sokoto and Kebbi, and Kaduna are under serious and chronic cases of insecurity. And when you go down to North Central, specifically Niger State, everyone in Nigeria knows what the youthful population of northern Nigeria are passing through. And we decide, based on our consultation with our members from the 19 northern state, we decide to submit and convey our message, especially to the president of Nigeria. All of a sudden, we heard that the president have actually approved the demolition of SARS. And there's nothing we can do about it.
So what next? What's the next line of action, Zaid? If you say that people in 19 northern states are under siege, by bandits, by kidnappers, and all of that, what then would be the next line of action, since the SARS has been disbanded?
The next line of actions are optional. One of them is the northern people will surely love to have SARS. All of the disbanded SARS, we need them. Let them be redeployed back to the 19 northern states. Specifically, let them be taken to Zamfara. Let them be taken to Katsina. Let them be taken to Maiduguri and Yobe. Let them go and end banditry. Incessant killings happening every day. We felt concern. From Kano, in fact, all the way from Maiduguri down to Abuja, you cannot go without panicking. And then we felt our concern. What we raised earlier was Special Anti-Robbery Squad is a unit that is under, let me say, was a unit that was under Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department of the Nigerian Police Force. As such, we expect them, since they are related to anything intelligence, let them be remodified, let them be reorganized. There is nothing in life that cannot be remodified. As such, since now the Inspector General of Police felt that let them be abolished, we need them in northern Nigeria. Let them be taken to Zamfara, Niger, Katsina, and Maiduguri, these 4 states. Their numbers can actually...
No, go ahead. You said their numbers can actually do what?
Can actually go a long way in reducing the level of daily kidnappings, daily rape, daily killings we are recording in northern Nigeria. Sincerely, all of us are not safe.
All right.
And all of us are not happy.
Okay, let me just hold you for a bit and quickly bring back Hamzat into the conversation, who is he's on the streets in Abuja. Hamzat, you just heard from the national president of the Arewa Youth Consultative Council speaking about the dangers that they stand to be under, if SARS is completely taken away from the country. Don't you feel their plight?
Well, thank you, Victor. Zaid, Ayuba, this is not the kind of solidarity we want. Nigeria is standing unitedly, and we would leave our comfort. We need to say it how it is. This is the 6th, going to 7th year of President Muhammadu Buhari. President Muhammadu Buhari is failing. Let's not sugarcoat it.
Some people might disagree with you on that statement, Hamzat, saying that the president is failing.
When we talk about
subjective.
Security, no, Victor, I work at the grassroots. I've traveled to the 6th geopolitical zone in
At the same time, someone will tell you that he does the same thing and he will tell you the president is working. So it is subjective.
I'm not saying the president is not working. I say he is failing when it has to do with security. Because if he's not failing, SARS would not have guns and shoot people. And mind you, the fact that we say they should disband SARS, what we're also saying, equip the Nigerian police force, train the personnel of the Nigerian police force, undertake psychological evaluation. Let's invest in human capital development. You're saying that they should be deployed to the 18 northern states. Are you taking a rotten and uncontrollable police element to the northern states? Are you saying we should migrate and take people
Hamza, that's subjective. Some might not agree with you on that.
And come to think of it, Zaid, let's leave this north-south-west divide. Nigeria is standing unitedly. We're leaving religion, ethnicity out of this conversation, and we're saying.
But Hamzat, aren't you concerned? Hamzat, aren't you concerned by the plight of people in those states he mentioned? Banditry, armed robbery, Boko Haram, kidnapping.
Mr. President was elected because there was a problem, not for him to repeat the problem to us. We elected him to solve those problems, but we're here because of those same problems. So Nigerian youth are saying enough is enough. Enough is enough. Fix the problem. Let's use the Nigerian police. Why are we concerned about the Nigerian police? The Nigerian police is the #1 law enforcement agency. If we get it wrong with them, we'll get it wrong with other military or security elements in the country. Fix the Nigerian police because they are our friends and they're not supposed to be killing innocent young people.
All right, Hamza, just remain calm, remain peaceful, and of course, let the protest remain same as well. Thank you for speaking to us from the field in Abuja, the Beggar Roundabout specifically, like you said, in Abuja. Hamzat Lawal, protester and also CEO of Code. Thanks for joining us on the program. We'll take a break and we'll be back to continue with the discussion. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We're back again to continue with the discussion on the end SARS. Just before the break, we had one of the protesters from the grounds in Abuja. We're supposed to have one of the protesters from Lagos, but the place is super, super rowdy as the governor and his deputy are right now at the scene of the protest at the Lekki toll gate. But we also have joining us via Skype from Lagos, Ayodele Adio. He is an online editor as well as a public affairs analyst. Ayodele, thanks for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me, Victor.
Indeed. So what do you make of the situation? The president has addressed Nigerians. The IGP has disbanded SARS, yet we still have people on the streets in Lagos and Abuja. We've seen in Jos, in quite some number of states. But what's your take on this? At the same time, some people from the northern part of the country are saying that they are under siege by bandits, by armed robbers, by Boko Haram, and they need some form of security. How do we come to the middle? How do we bridge these needs of people from the south and people from the north to come to, I mean, as we are Nigerians, how do we bridge these needs at the moment?
Let me start by, dealing with the first part of your question, which is why are people still on the streets, even though the president has just made a statement. I think there's a trust deficit here, where over the years government have made several promises and have failed to live by the promises that they have made to the people or the citizens. And so it seems to me like the public hardly trusts what the government has said. It looks to them.
I mean, yes. I was going to say at the same time, they've made promises that they've kept as well.
I mean, of course, that is not in doubt. However, in terms of security, which is national security, it seems to many citizens like the government has consistently failed on its promise to protect lives and property. And to that extent, what young people want to see across the country and why these protests have been sustained is largely the fact that they want to see real reforms. They want to see real changes, and they want commitment that those changes are going to happen as quick as possible. They no longer want a police force that will shoot indiscriminately at the people that it's supposed to protect. They no longer want a police force that will harass citizens just for holding an iPhone or for driving late at night or for wearing a dreadlock.
Sorry to butting, but how do we merge this? I mean, just looking at the fact that, there are also some concerns on the other side of the divide, but how do we merge these concerns, to have a good society, on both sides?
I mean, you see, what we really need, frankly speaking, is a rejig in our entire security architecture. We do need a complete revamping of our entire security, national security policy, if you'd asked me. And if we're focusing on the police, because like you rightfully said, you have a lot of northerners who are also making their demands, in terms of banditry, how they have been subject to indiscriminate killings by bandits. And what that tells you is that there's a failure of a security architecture nationally. And for us to be better protected in every part of the country, what we need to see is a rejig of the security architecture. So in terms of the police, we need to see a better recruitment strategy where competent people are hired into the police force, where it is not about allocating slots to big men. You need to see a rejig in the entire training academy, where our police officers are better trained, better equipped with the resources to be able to police effectively, and are better remunerated, where they are paid essentially a living wage. Now, if these three things do not happen, which is to prioritize the quality of recruitment, to prioritize trainings that is of global standard, and to, of course, ensure that the remuneration of the average police officer is such that it guarantees him a decent living, then we're not going to make any reasonable progress.
So is you're making demands now. Is this one of the reasons why we have reformed the Police Act trending on Twitter as well?
Exactly. People
all right, just hold it a bit. Let me just quickly go back to Kano, where I still have with us Zaid, the national president of the Arewa Youth Consultative Council. Zaid, well, it seems for the people in Abuja and in Lagos, it seems there's no going back. You said you've written to the president as well as to the IGP. Are we likely to see a protest from your members?
Victor, sincerely, one thing our people don't actually understand, protest doesn't actually end up being the only solution to our problems. I have seen it. A lot of us have seen it. A lot of topics were trending. They were saying that we are going to hold a pro-SARS protest, that the government or some politicians, blah, blah, a lot of fabrications that some people have actually sponsored us for us to hold pro-SARS protest. That is a big lie. It's not true. We're actually not going to hold any protest except in Maiduguri. Our chapter in Borno, Arewa Youth Consultative Council chapter in Borno, will be holding their protest tomorrow.
Why Borno
And that
alone?
is simply because they want to show, very good, they simply want to show the world that they needed SARS more than anybody in the world. Secondly, we are actually paying serious attention on protest. We need to ask ourselves, the same energy we inject in protesting for NSAS, if we had channeled that energy in reforming the entire policing system, the entire Nigerian police, from the MOPOLs to intelligence response team to the SARS to DSS to whatever, I assure you that we could have gotten a better result than the one we are having now. Our only key side of the contention is that we are of the opinion that if instead of it to say that abolish the SARS, by the time you abolish this SARS, you are not sending them, you are not dismissing them out of the Nigerian police. They are still part of the system. And that their attitude is in them. It is not from the name SARS, it is not from the khaki they use. It is not about the dressing or the weapon they use, it is about their mentality. All we are saying, if we had looked into reforming the entire Nigerian police, looking at how do we change the modus operandi, the tactical operations of the Nigerian police,
All right,
I assure you,
Yeah, sorry, Zaid. I mean, I know the
Are you with
conversation.
me?
I'm with you, Zaid. The conversation continues, but at this moment, we don't have much time to continue taking your thoughts. Like you said, your chapter in Borno State will have their own protest. We'll be monitoring that. We'll be following up on that to also see how that pans out. But I have to say thank you, Zaid, for joining us on the program. You are the national president of the Arewa Youth Consultative Council. Thanks again for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Well, Adele, as well, thanks for joining us on the program and sharing your thoughts. Hopefully, the trends will continue, and hopefully we'll get to see that reforms that you, as well as Zaid, as well as Hamzat, are all calling for. Thanks for sharing your thoughts again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Well, let's take a look at the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week.
The protesting Nigerians in London against the brutality of SARS in Nigeria kicks off this week's most viewed videos in 5th place.
Your voice has been heard. This is a new Nigeria. We are not scared to speak our mind again.
The level of brutality of SARS has reached a level where it cannot be reformed. You can do nothing about it but completely disband them.
Both of them.
It is followed in 4th by that of a 19-year-old Nigerian whose dream is to launch Nigeria into space. Third is from the End SARS protests, but this time in Lagos, Nigeria.
The youth in Nigeria, we are saying enough is enough. We are saying we want to be heard. If all the youth in Nigeria die, who will be that future of tomorrow? I want to know.
And second sees the claim by Pastor Enoch Adeboye on what will befall Nigeria if restructuring doesn't take place.
Why can't we, for example, have a system of government that will create a kind of what I would call United States of Nigeria? And let me explain. We all know that we must restructure. I mean, it's either we restructure or we break. That means you don't have to be a prophet to know that one.
While the most viewed video, as expected, is the End SARS protesters from different parts of the country.
And there you go. Those were the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Again, that's where we wrap it up on the program. But like I said earlier, we were supposed to go to the protest here in Lagos, but because of the visit of the governor and his deputy, the whole place is rowdy. And of course, the police spokesman was also supposed to join us, and he is right there at the scene. But please, while you protest, be safe. Do not incite the police officers, as we know some have died and so many have also been injured. Thank you for watching. I'm Victor Mathias.